A vampire struggling with his immortality finds passion and a will to survive in a forbidden relationship with a fairy. The moon hung high over New Orleans, casting a silver glow over the moss-draped trees that loomed like sentinels around the old Leclerc estate. For centuries it had stood abandoned, a crumbling testament to a life once vibrant but now lost to shadows. A chill hung in the air, reminiscent of the memories the walls held, memories that tormented Victor Leclerc, a vampire cursed with immortality and an insatiable hunger for blood. Victor had spent 500 years wrestling with his nature, torn between the primal instinct to feed and the weight of his conscience. After years spent in the company of a ruthless coven, where he had succumbed to his darkest impulses, he had made a choice. He would no longer partake in the blood of humans, no longer revel in the chaos of his kind. Instead, he hunted deer and raccoons in the bayou, a futile attempt to quench a thirst that animal blood could never satisfy. But as the nights grew longer, Victor found himself increasingly tempted to embrace the darkness he had once relished. The vivid memories of blood and ecstasy played like a haunting melody in his mind. He had returned to the estate, hoping solitude would provide clarity, but it only amplified his struggle. One evening, drawn by an unexplainable urge, Victor wandered deeper into the woods surrounding his estate. The moonlight filtered through the leaves, illuminating a small pond, its surface like glass. As he approached, he caught a glimpse of a figure, ethereal and radiant. A woman, bare and unguarded, glided through the water, her laughter mingling with the rustling leaves. His breath caught in his throat. She was the embodiment of beauty, her skin glowing like the moon itself. But it wasn't just her appearance that captivated him. It was her scent, rich and sweet, laced with a hint of something he couldn't place. Desire surged within him, more potent than any he had felt in centuries. For nights he watched her, hidden behind the thick trunks of ancient cypress trees. He learned her patterns, how she danced in the moonlight, laughing as if she were the very essence of joy. Each glimpse ignited a fire within him, but he was tormented by the knowledge of his nature. What could a creature of the night offer a being so pure? Finally, on a night when the stars seemed to twinkle with conspiratorial delight, he stepped forward, heart racing. She turned at the sound of his footfall, wide eyes filled with surprise and intrigue. "Who goes there?" she called, her voice melodic, like a lullaby. "I mean you no harm," Victor said, his voice a whisper against the night. "I've been watching you." Her expression shifted from fear to curiosity. "Why?" I don't know. You're enchanting." He could feel the tension in the air, a magnetic pull that drew them closer. "I'm Sylvie," she replied, her voice softening. "What do you seek in the dark?" "A way to be free from my past," he admitted, shame creeping into his voice. "To find peace." She stepped closer, the water glistening around her. "And what if you find it with a fairy?" Her eyes sparkled with mischief. "Isn't that a dangerous path for a vampire?" "Perhaps," he said, his heart racing. "But I don't want to feed on you. I just want to know you." Sylvie hesitated, then smiled, a radiant light illuminating her features. "Then let us talk. The night is long, and I have much to share." As their conversations turned to laughter and shared secrets, Victor found himself drawn into her world, a place filled with magic and wonder. Yet, beneath the surface of their connection lay an ever-looming threat. Sylvie was part of an ancient tribe that had long battled the vampires, her blood considered a delicacy by his kind. Whispers of his coven soon reached him, the sinister promise of a hunt reigniting his darker urges. Sylvie's family, upon discovering their bond, would never accept a union with a vampire. The thought of losing her sent Victor spiraling into despair. He could feel the hunger clawing at him, not just for blood but for her, for the life they could share. One night, as the moon waned, Sylvie confronted him. "You're hiding something. I can feel it." Victor's heart sank. "They want you, Sylvie, my coven. They desire your blood. I cannot let them have you." Her eyes flared with determination. "Then we must protect each other. Love is worth the fight." And so, they stood at the precipice of an impossible choice: love against legacy, desire against duty. They concocted a plan, knowing it would draw both the vampire world and her kin into a maelstrom of conflict. Together, they would forge a path to freedom, but not without sacrifices. As their love deepened, Victor realized that the hunger for Sylvie was a different kind of craving, one that filled the void within him, illuminating the darkness he had wandered through for centuries. But every moment spent together came with the bitter taste of danger, like a sweet poison coursing through their veins. On a moonless night, Victor and Sylvie made their stand. With her family's hunters closing in and the coven prowling, they fought side by side. In the chaos, blood was spilled, both vampire and fairy, and the forest was alive with the sounds of battle. But through it all, their bond held strong, an unbreakable thread woven with love and defiance. In the end, they escaped, fleeing into the night, determined to carve out a new existence where their love could flourish, free from the past's chains. Victor looked at Sylvie, her spirit radiant even in the face of danger. "I never thought I could feel this alive," he whispered, pulling her close. "Neither did I," she replied, her smile fierce and unwavering. "Together, we will create a new legacy, one that defies our bloodlines." And as they vanished into the shadows, the world behind them felt less like a prison and more like a canvas, waiting for their story to unfold.